Hello, this tutorial assumes that you've already watched the first Medbox tutorial. In this video, we're going to walk through some of the more advanced features of Medbox. Let's start with all the options that appear when you tap Edit on the top right. In the other video, we've already covered how to add a new profile and how to edit or delete a profile. So, Sync Devices. What does Sync Devices do? Tapping on Sync Devices will package up Medbox's database and attach it to an email, as we see here. So at the bottom of the email, this is the database that powers this device's Medbox. And this email can be shared to any other Apple device, like an iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch. And when the attachment is opened on that other device, all that data will be automatically imported into that other device, and the data will be synced. So I'll cancel this email, and I'll tap on Edit again, and we'll move on to password protection. Tapping on password protection will bring up the settings pane where you can turn on protection, add a 4-digit password, confirm your password, and hit done. And when you do this, whenever Medbox is closed, it will lock itself. So no one will have access to the Medbox information without adding or entering this password. Now be careful, because if you don't remember your password, it can't be changed. You'd have to delete PocketPharmacist from your device and re-download it. So make sure you choose a password that you can remember. I'll leave this off for now. And then refreshing Medbox. This is really only necessary if you're going to do a syncing of the data file with iTunes. And that's described in the help library. It's another way to sync devices that's a little more secure because you have complete control of that data file. So I'll tap cancel. So that completes the edit options. Now let's talk about shared data. All of these items, medical conditions, pharmacies, prescribers, are shared across all users. Whenever a profile adds any of these shared data items, they will appear here. So for example, medical conditions. These are all the medical conditions that are within the entire Medbox universe, if you will. So every profile that exists has at least one of these medical conditions probably associated with it. So I'm going to go back and I'll show you Danielle, medical condition, and I'll go ahead and I'm going to create high cholesterol. So here's high cholesterol, and yep, checked off. We want to assign that to Danielle, so I'll hit done. So high cholesterol is now assigned to Danielle's medical conditions, and if I go back to Medbox and I look at the shared data of medical conditions across all profiles, we see that high cholesterol has been added. So now high cholesterol will be an option even within Mike's profile. So if I go to his medical conditions and hit add, I can choose high cholesterol to add it to his profile, or I can create a new one like I did for Danielle. And even better, within the medication form, if I was to add a cholesterol drug, when I tap used for, high cholesterol is an option. So these shared data items really just make it easier for data entry, so you're not re-entering things twice. And here's one tip. If you try to delete a shared data item, for example, I'll try to delete high cholesterol by tapping it and tapping delete. It tells me it's not allowed because it's already being used by Danielle. So I can't delete this from the system if it's being used by a profile. So I would have to go into Danielle's medical conditions and remove this from her conditions. And yes, I would like to do this, so I'll remove it. Now when I go back to the shared data, I can remove high cholesterol or delete it from the system entirely. It may be a little confusing at first, but it'll make sense and it makes the data entry a lot easier. So let's move on to past medications. I'm going to tap on Mike's profile, and we see we have current medications and past medications. I'll tap on this, and this will bring up a list of all medications that have been taken in the past and have been discontinued, and the discontinued reason will be in red within each drug. Now you can add a new past med by tapping the plus sign. If you already have a list of drugs that you've taken in the past and you want to maintain that list, you can just add it here one by one. Or if you're on a medication, for example, let's say I was on Renexa and this was stopped because it was causing too much dizziness. I'll tap edit and then inactivate or delete. And I have two choices. I can delete the drug entirely, it just goes away, I never have access to it again, or I can inactivate it, which means that it saves the drug's history, and I can place that into past medications. So I'll tap inactivate, and then it asks for a reason why I'm stopping Renexa, and I'll just say caused dizziness. I could skip this, it would leave that reason blank, that's not a problem, but I'll save it, and then Renexa goes away. And if I go back to my past medications, here's Renexa causing dizziness. Now if this drug was restarted, I can tap it here and activate it, and it goes away from past meds and it becomes part of my current meds. So it's very, very helpful. So the last thing I want to show you is the button on the top right of all profiles. This is where you can view, email, or print a complete profile. And the complete profile contains all the information within the profile neatly organized into sections. Now on the iPhone this isn't as helpful as it is on the iPad to view it on the device, but it becomes extremely helpful to email or print out your profile and bring it to the doctor's appointment or email it to the doctor before the appointment. So that rounds out Medbox, and if you have any questions or feedback, don't hesitate to send it along by tapping feedback within the help section. Thank you for your support.